there, Virgo. Welcome to your November 2018 General Tarot reading. It's Rena on a Friday night, shuffling tarot cards. That's what I do. Sometimes on the weekends. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. The heart of the matter is the Devil card. I love those hooves. And this is connected to Capricorn. And the Devil can be a temptation, something that you are feeling drawn to do, but you know that your motives are not necessarily pure. So usually this involves a relationship, that is not very savory, but it may be something that you feel compelled to do. Virgo people, a lot of times they have this very innocent look about them, this kind of purity, and they can be very earthy, being an earth sign. And let me see, let's look at the bottom of this. The Empress. So the Empress, one of the things about the Empress is about love. This is a card connected to Venus, so yeah, of course love. But Taurus and Libra are connected to this card because they are ruled by Venus. What I see in a professional situation is the lure of money, but the desire to be an artist. And I always kind of champion artists in even career readings, because I feel like a lot of times people who are creative, you tend to shove that part of themselves underneath the rug, and they focus on the more pragmatic side of life, which of course everyone has to pay bills, or a lot of people do, and that's just part of life. But when you have a career or job that you're doing that you feel a sense of creativity, or at least that you have the freedom, so that if you are that kind of a person, that you can practice, do that on the side, your creative things, and you have that time for that, then that is a perfect fit. And when you are denying that part of yourself in favor of the Devil card. See, the Devil card can be about an overly materialistic nature. Virgo, to me, is not a greedy sign in and of itself, but you might get caught up in that trap of financial security, because we're always told, oh my God, if you don't do this, that's going to happen. We're always kind of having scare tactics used against us. And after a while, you can start to believe them, because we're told that so often. And so I'm just kind of making you aware of this contrast, if that is something that's true for you. Now, the other thing too is for anybody who wants to be a mother or a parent in general, because the Empress connects to motherhood, and the Devil connects to an affair type of relationship. So it's like, if you're in a relationship with a person that you cannot see settling down with, then what is the purpose of that relationship? Unless you don't want to settle down with anyone and you don't want children. That's perfectly fine. But if you're really looking for that person to start a family with and things like that, or if you already have children and you already have your life and you just want to add somebody like a companion to your life, somebody that's going to add to your family. And as a mother, I'm using mother because that's what this connects to. So as a mother, somebody that you can trust with your children and things like that. So the devil is, needless to say, not really in that category. But it's an interesting contrast between these two things. What crosses you is represented by the Five of Wands. This is a card of a lot of fighting. And actually, if you're with somebody represented by the Devil card, that could be that you are with someone who, outside the bedroom, you just don't get along. And I've made this observation before that it seems like when the relationship is very sexual sometimes, that the two people, they can have a really bad relationship. I don't understand that, because it's like that, you know, and I think it might have something to do with, you know, especially if both people are very shallow people, then, or one person is, then there's that kind of a negative energy from that person anyway. But sometimes I think that it's just because of the two people not really being compatible in most other ways. The other scenario here that I didn't mention is that perhaps this Capricorn individual is that you're fighting about motherhood. So maybe this is your spouse, and maybe they want children, and they want you to have children, and you're kind of like not sure about it. Or maybe, because usually if this is like a literal Capricorn individual, they usually will want a family. And you might be the one that's like unsure about it. And the other thing too is that there could be some kind of conflict related to a child that you already have with this individual. And maybe it's even like a custody situation, but I would say like a money situation, like child support or something like that. And the point is, with that Five of Wands being in the challenge position, is that might be very stressful for you right now. The higher message is the Fool card, and this is about, I think, like letting go of the past. And the way you see the way that this, would you call that a duckling? Although I don't know if ducklings go on branches, so maybe this is like a little baby bird. But the way that it's kind of, you know, precariously on the edge. The Rider-Waite Pamela Coleman illustration shows a person that's almost about to fall off a cliff because they're not looking at the ground beneath them. They're looking at the heavens. And so in this particular example, I think that the idea of the branch is that we're always, it's like riding on the edge, walking on the edge. And when you're doing something new, it's like this, it feels very risky. And you feel like at any point I could fall. There's no sense of security beneath my feet. And yet there's an exhilarating feeling because of, you know, the very fact that you don't know what's going to happen. So in other words, predictability can breed a sense of, well, I couldn't say it better myself. Predictability can breed a sense of discontent, which is what the Four of Cups represents. So if this is like a relationship you're already in, this may be like just further evidence of how dissatisfied you are with this. Now again, I even brought up the example of two people who are already split up, who are dealing with a custody issue of a child. But in some cases, if you're still with someone, you're getting bored, and that might be why you're fighting with this person. Maybe at one time you didn't fight, and now all of a sudden you're bickering a lot because you really, you know, it's kind of maybe the physical attraction has kind of gotten old. And with the Fool card, it might be saying that it's time for something new. And not in a frivolous kind of a way, but in the sense that whatever you're involved with has run its course. And especially if this is a work situation, you may realize with the Five of Wands in the challenge position, there may be also a lot of conflict in the office. And you may also feel stressed about that. And then on top of that, you feel this sense of just overall malaise, dissatisfaction, and perhaps you've even been let down by these people, and you haven't really, it's not just like you haven't forgiven them, but you are also feeling like these people are not people you want to be around. So it's not even about whether or not you forgive them. You just would like to get away from that whole scene. What's coming in is the Ace of Pentacles, so this could be a new job. Well, it's more of like starting a new job, and this could be like a new beginning relationship with somebody who is an earth sign. So I would have to say, it's so funny because I was wondering about that devil, if that's just a Capricorn individual. I think somebody wrote to me once and they said, can, the devil card just be somebody who's a Capricorn and it's not somebody bad? And I was like thinking to myself, yeah, I guess so. But it's almost like, and by the way, it's not saying that all Capricorns are evil. I think everyone knows that. But it's because I'd like to know exactly why Capricorn is associated. Because they say Saturn and Satan, are coming from the same origins. But the planet Saturn isn't having anything to do with evil. And actually, even materialism, I would say. It's much more about conservation and discipline and simplifying one's life and things like that, kind of paring it down. So, yeah, I mean, a new beginning, a new relationship with an earth sign could be a Capricorn or a Taurus. My bet would be on a Taurus. Maybe this is even somebody from your past that you were dating that comes back. The first half of the month, we still have Venus retrograde, so there still is time for you to experience that. The outcome is the Eight of Pentacles. I like this card for Virgo because I think that you embody this anyway. This is about perfecting your craft. First of all, you are a perfectionist, but you're also, this is Pentacles, so this is practical endeavors. So an example would be you wanting to create more, you want to expand your skill set, and so you take a course or attend a workshop or something like that. And even with your work itself, it's like a labor of love. You're putting your effort into it. You're not just mailing it in. And when I see the Eight of Pentacles, I think of almost getting lost in your work and feeling that sense of not only accomplishment, but a job well done. With Ace of Pentacles, this could be a new job that you feel like really motivated for, because there's a totally different vibe than what you were experiencing. And there may even be like a creative component to it, I don't know. But definitely an improvement over that situation. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you have any kind of conflict with a partner about the fact that they want you to stay at home with the child, and you feel like if you do that, you're going to lose your work mojo, or maybe even if you have some kind of career achievements that you don't want to just step down from, You may feel like you're having to sacrifice and the other person isn't having to sacrifice. Well, the Eight of Pentacles could be about perhaps planning for something where you take a course or you take some kind of, like a certification course so that you can do something. Maybe it's to do something at home, or maybe it's to do something where, like either at home, or you can utilize your services in an independent way. For instance, being a massage therapist and traveling to somebody's home and not having to go to an office per se, and things like that, so that you have more autonomy, but you're also able to be in the home enough of the time, at least. Okay, that's what I have for you, Virgo. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.